keep us in chains. By show of hands, who else is sick and tired of the same? Percent, trying to keep us small, trying to keep us from getting out. Minimizing the struggles they've caused, saying we're not working hard enough.
We really should stop this fighting. Otherwise we'll miss the fireworks.
There won't be any fireworks.
And here we go.
And welcome everybody to Suck It! I am the great and powerful King of Kings, Prince of all that is awesome. Derek, how the fuck is everybody today on this Wednesday, November 11th of the horrible year that has been 2020? Hump day, right? Well, you know, we're almost there, the weekend. You know, things are going well so far, I guess, you know. Had two good shows yesterday and Monday with Black Suit Youth and the Messenger Birds. But tonight, you know, we're kicking it off again with some more music. Because you know what? That's what I do best, is music. Yeah, I love talking to actors and actresses too. But you know what? Music is my heart and soul, as you guys know. So we're going to continue that on today. Because I have the lead singer of a band out of Tennessee, by the name of Lonelyouth, and they just got some bunch of cool stuff going on. Their newest release is called In the Deep, and we're going to talk about that and more. So please welcome to the show, Mr. Tyler Vinatelli. What's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, brother. You?
Doing well, man. Enjoying the weather.
You know, we were just talking about that. Yeah, the weather's been nice. It's supposed to cool down by the end of this week again, but it's gonna be it should be a nice, you know, nice fall going into winter. Who knows though?
Yeah, we've had a surprisingly we usually don't have a fall. We usually go straight from summer into winter, but we've had a decent fall this year, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah, see, I'm lucky in the fact that I get the 4 seasons. I get the leaf times, you know. We started, September for us, you know, we start to feel it slowly start to cool off. But once you start to see that first orange or brown leaf, it's like, oh, it's here.
Yeah, that's my favorite, man.
Yeah,
at Halloween weather.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we went driving in the mountains of West Virginia 2 weeks ago and then did a hike along the Shenandoah. And man, it was beauty at its finest.
The mountains, yeah. I was actually supposed to go to the mountains this coming week in Gatlinburg, but my trip ended up getting canceled. So I'm really bummed about it because I'm sure it's looks amazing up there.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the mountains in Tennessee as well. I mean, shit. I mean, any place in the country that has a good set of mountains, you know, this time of year is looking pretty fucking nice.
I agree with that, dude.
So, you know, how's things going musically for you guys? It's been a fucked up year, but you know, it's
that's true. Yeah.
I mean, you got to keep trucking on, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been really cool. It's been really cool because everyone has found different ways to do stuff. I don't know, it's been a really crazy time for the industry. Just having to figure out different ways to promote yourself, you know, and stuff like that. But no, I mean, it's been going really well. We just, like you said, we just released In the Deep a little over a week ago. It's done. We've held on to that record for a good, all of quarantine for sure. We recorded it right before all the quarantine stuff hit, going into March, and we've held on. We just didn't know what to do with it, man. We were just are we supposed to put this out? Because we wanted to play it live so badly. And that wasn't obviously happening. So we sat on it, like I said, for about 6 or 7 months. And we were like, you know what, man, fuck it. Let's put it out. And so we put out In the Deep. It's done super awesome. It's probably been our most successful release, immediate, seeing the success of it. We were lucky enough to get put on a couple editorials on Spotify, stuff like that, and the reception of it's been really, really cool, man. And it's been really awesome to see it do its thing. It's definitely the more heaviest or the heavier thing that we've put out since being in Lonely Youth, which that was always, I felt, where we wanted to go. But we just couldn't quite achieve exactly what we wanted. But I think we're finally doing it with this new EP, and I'm very excited for everybody to hear everything else on it.
So what was holding you back as far as hitting that heaviness?
I think it was just trying to bridge the gap of we didn't want to be just a heavy band, you know, a lot of our influences come from Deftones and especially all the new metal stuff like Korn and Linkin Park and just old stuff like that. And those bands were heavy, but they still had that melody and a little bit, you know. And so we were just trying so hard just to not just be a heavy band, you know. We wanted to be heavy but also still keep our melody from our other singles that, you know, we had put out a year or so before. And I think we finally have started to achieve that and kind of find our niche, I guess, of where we want to be.
Yeah, I mean, in the rock world, you know, you've got so many different subgenres of rock and metal, mm-hmm. and, you know, some of it you know, death metal and deathcore and heavy, you know, this and that, you know, all the different things, you know, they do lack that melody.
For sure.
That's why, you know, I don't usually fuck with that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my brand, you know, definitely Deftones, Kill Switching, you know, Kill Switch Engage,
For sure.
Ice Nine Kills, In This Moment,
Mm-hmm.
you know, even Hailstorm and, you know, Volbeat and everything else in between, because, you know, those types of bands, yeah, they have their heaviness, but they also can pull out a nice slow song and really touch your heart, and, you know, and they do the solos every once in a while, or solos every song, but, you know, it's about creating something that, you know, you can connect with.
Yeah.
You know, I do, you know, love my fair share of, you know, death metal or deathcore, but at the same time, you know, it's not something I regularly listen to, so I definitely feel what you're talking about there.
Yeah, I mean, I love all genres of music. I especially love I love metalcore stuff. I love, you know, the chaotic. There's a big movement of chaotic metalcore stuff going on. I love it all. But me personally, I mean, I always I came up singing. That was what I did, was sing. And so I obviously influenced by all kinds of you know, heavier bands, and so I wanted to learn to scream and, you know, all that stuff. And so that was one of the big things at first, is because I mean, I just mostly sang, and I just kind of had to reteach myself how to actually scream and yell and stuff like that. And that was honestly a really big thing that held me back from going heavier for a second, is I didn't want to have the music be so heavy and me not be able to project and do what I needed to do when the music got that heavy. But I finally have started to get back into my swing, because I mean, all people my age, we all started out in metal bands, you know,
of course.
So it's I used to scream all the time, but, you know, I just got more into the singing thing for so long, and so I kind of had to relearn how to, you know, do those things. And now that I have started to, you know, it's really cool, because we can put out those melodic yet heavy songs, because we can have that hooky chorus, but then also have the really heavy verses, you know, or bridges and stuff. But yeah, so that's pretty much, you know, was the turning point, I feel writing the heavier stuff.
Yeah, especially like you mentioned, you know, when everyone first starts playing metal, you know, especially in their, you know, mid-teens, late teens, whatever it is, when they're in their first fucking bands, they scream and growl and have no idea what they're doing.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I didn't at all.
And they end up blowing out their vocal cords and stuff like that, and, you know, or they just wake up one day and realize, holy shit, I sound like hell.
Yeah.
And then, because, you know, one of the things that gets a lot of flack from, especially the rap community, or even just the regular rock, you know, the rock and roll community, R&B and everything like that, pop, you know, it's just screaming. That's so easy. I could do that.
Yeah.
Try it.
Dude,
you know,
it's so hard.
It is the most difficult. I mean, look at people Matt Heafy of Trivium blew his vocal cords out for like nearly 2 years. Couldn't do it at all. They even debated on whether or not they should even do their old stuff anymore, and put out a whole album of nothing but him just singing the entire time.
Yeah.
When the when the world goes cold, I think it was. Then Matt Shadows of Avenged Sevenfold. He's done it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
He's still recovering from the last one, his vocal cord infection, where he just blew him out again.
Yeah.
It's so common, and people just don't understand. There's a proper way to do it, and then there's a wrong way to do it, and it's one of the most difficult things in rock and roll.
Oh, absolutely. It is. I think that what the guy that does all the, and I think he had like a video where he went to a show, like a metal show, and he just like was walking up to people and he was being like, so can you scream, or like asking people, do you think it's easier to scream? And they were like, yeah, it's easy, and he would make them do it, and you couldn't do it because it is really difficult. It's
Jared Dines.
Yeah.
Difficult. Yeah, Jared Dines. That was because he's a internet YouTube guitarist.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's also played with Breaking Benjamin and stuff like that. But yeah, he's done that a couple times, and people just could not do it. He's also the same guy that goes to metal shows and walks up to somebody wearing a band T-shirt and says, "Hey, can you name three songs?"
Yeah. He likes to troll hard.
Oh my god, he is such a troll. I love that guy so fucking much. I can watch his shit all day.
Yeah, he's.
But yeah, it is one of those things, man. It's yeah. I mean, looking back on it now, when I was 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, in my metal bands, a couple different bands that I was in, what I sounded like then versus what I sound like now, and I don't sing professionally anymore, but it's like, damn, it was such a difference. Back then it was like, I constantly felt like I was a 90-year-old smoker all the time.
Yeah.
Now, I don't scream for a week, and I get in the car and I just belt it out. It's like, oh, much difference.
For sure.
It requires so much littler vocal warm-ups when you're doing it right, and just stuff like that. It's just amazing to me.
Well, just get them. It was just like being on tour, man. Like, I mean, a lot of people I talk to will be like be on tour, and like, I mean, keep in mind I like sing a lot more, but it's like it's so strange because I will go on tour and I feel like my voice is stronger by the end of the tour rather than the beginning, because I feel like my vocal cords are getting like calloused over and worked, and because it's a muscle.
It is.
And so I feel like by the end of the tour, I am a lot stronger than I was at the beginning. And a lot of vocalists aren't like that. They have to go on vocal rest and stuff like that, which also I've never been on, those bands are going on like 2-month long tours. I'm sure if I sang for 2 months that I would be pretty tired too. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, shit. Like I mentioned, Ice Nine Kills. Those guys were on fucking tour from the moment their album was released in August of 2018 up until the pandemic hit, non-stop. Just
It's crazy.
like another band like Nothing More.
Mm-hmm.
They toured for 4 years almost non-stop with their first album. This is the time on it. But I mean, it's like, how?
Yeah.
But then you got like guys like Rob Halford of fucking Iron Maiden, who can just do it, his entire life. Never fucking has a day where he has to warm up at all. He just goes out there and just does it. Just does it.
Must be nice.
It must be nice. That metal god right there. I mean, he was given a gift beyond anything else.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
So, you release this, EP, and you can't go fucking tour.
Mm-hmm.
How does that feel?
It's weird, man. It's really strange because I'm all about, and I support like all the live streaming stuff. Like I said earlier, like bands have tried to figure out some other way to like give their fans like that live experience. And it's like I support all my friends that have done it. It's weird for me because it's just like it's not for me. Like I've tried watching so many, and I'm for it. I'm like, hell yeah, this is awesome. You know, I'm glad these guys are doing it, but it's just, I personally can't get into it. And so my band personally, we haven't really done any live streams. But I mean, if things continue to stay shut down, like, I mean, we want to play it live. We're going to have to, you know, do something. We're going to have to put out one, you know, or something. Nashville's been really cool though too, because, there's a bunch of venues here, that have been doing a whole series of things where they've been setting up the whole stage and everything, like Exit In, The Inn, like all these like dope venues. And they've been putting on shows just like they would be there. Obviously, it's live streamed, and obviously there's like multiple cameras and stuff like that. But I mean, I could definitely see us doing some stuff like that, because that would be fun. You know, but like it is definitely weird, like, you know, starting to put out singles from an EP that we've been hanging on to for 6 months, and not knowing when we're actually going to be able to play it in front of an actual crowd. It's very strange, and I think it's a really, really weird time for all the bands right now, because it's that strange, like, what do we do? like kind of thing. It's like you want to play it, but you also understand that we're in the middle of a pandemic, and it's strange, man. It's just a very strange time, dude. I don't even know how to explain it, honestly. It's just weird.
It really is. I mean, you know, back in June and July and August, I hosted about 25 streams on my channel for you know, for live bands. Just giving them an outlet to play. You know, I did some national acts and a bunch of local acts. You know, and it was really fun, you know, to produce those shows and again give them an opportunity to get in front of a live audience, a national live audience. You know, something that they may not have had the opportunity to do. But just to see, you know, the faces on their, you know, sitting there saying, you know, damn, you know, I'm finally able to, you know, play again. You know, it doesn't matter if I'm looking at a camera or not. At least I'm able to get to play. And you know, but the thing about it is, like, on my end, you know, the guy that's sitting on the other end, you know, working everything on this end, and it's like, I just makes me miss going to a show even more. You know, last year I went to 10 different shows, and to not even have been to one this year, it just sucks as a fan. But as you know, as a guy who used to tour and you know, used to be in bands too, I know that feeling of not being able to tour. I know that feeling of not being able to walk on that stage, or not get inside that dirty ass bus or the dirty ass van or whatever the case might be, and just enjoy the road with your brothers to the fact where you're getting ready to fight within the next 6 weeks.
Dude.
You know, it's a chore, but it's a life that most people just love.
Oh, for sure. And it, like, especially like, it's I don't know, man. It's been really weird. Like, and we had just put out a single called Bones right before quarantine hit, and we played here at Exit In. We got the pleasure of playing like 2 sold out shows here at Exit In. Like, I'm talking 3 days before like the quarantine hit. And so we were on that like super live, like, high of playing shows, and then it was just like straight down. And it sucked so bad, dude. It was the hardest thing ever.
Yeah, especially to now, you know, getting close to the end of the year. Right now, there's been a couple tours announced, but nothing like substantial that we might not even get. I mean, the only thing that's really substantial that's been announced was Aftershock, and that's in October of next year. So that's a year away. But I mean, it's like, you know, is that even going to happen? Are these tours that are planned? Because there actually some are, but it's like I've been hearing 2022. So I mean, that's what really scares me.
Yeah, it's going to be very strange, man. I was talking to my friend the other day, that's in a band as well, and we were talking about just that, like, things being pushed back that far. And I told him, I said, I really think that we're about to see a big line drawn in between live acts. I was like, I feel like there's going to be a lot of bands out there that get sick of it, and they just start playing shows, and they're just like, screw everybody, we're going to play shows. And then you're also going to have this other side of the line of bands that are like going to be like, no, dude, that's not right. You shouldn't be doing that. You know, we're in the middle of a pandemic, you know, and then it's just going to be this big war between bands. This side wants to play shows and they're just saying, fuck it, we're going to play shows. And this side obviously being like, hey, don't do that. It's not, you shouldn't be doing that. And it's just going to be this big mess. And because, I mean, yeah, like you said earlier, I mean, it sucks that we can't play live shows right now. And it's like, and you're just pushed and pulled. I mean, you know, back and forth, like this information, this, and like, it's just back and forth. And you don't know where to turn. You don't know where to go. And it's just, I don't know, man. Like I said, it's just a weird time. Like, it's like, I don't know what's going to happen. And it's just like, I just hope that something can happen to where we're not waiting till 2022 to have rape some gigs.
Now, I mean, the one thing that I'm kind of hoping I start to see is more of drive-in shows.
For sure. Mm-hmm.
You know, I know a lot of comedians are doing it. There's some bands that are doing it, but it hasn't been on a massive scale. Mm-hmm. I would love to see, you know, a festival put together, or at least a 4 or 5 band, you know, compilation. But, you know, going from town to town, just doing drive-in shows. I mean, it's perfectly, you know, that's socially distanced. You know, you can either get close and get really, you know, intimate with it and not have to turn on your radio, or be in the back and connect into this FM station and, you know, have it in your car. But at least you're going to watch it on a big screen.
Yeah.
I mean,
watch it.
Yeah, exactly. So there's options, you know, but I don't feel enough bands are taking advantage of it.
For sure. Well, it's also like, I think it's that, and I think that there's a lot of promoters that are like potentially scared to take those things on because it's like untested waters kind of for promoters. I mean, they had one here in Nashville, this band from here. It's really awesome, called Early Humans. They just did a drive-in show a couple weeks ago, and apparently it went super, super well. And I'm stoked for them on that because, I mean, they're kind of like super ingrained in our scene. It was good to see someone from our scene actually go get to play a show, you know, and like in front of actual people. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think that's something that needs to be implemented more. And I think it's going to be something that's implemented more because it works. Like you said, people are socially distanced. It's a really cool idea. I mean, I just need more of it to happen, I guess, or like other people to pick it up and be like, yeah, let's do this, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's weird and it sucks, and you know it's, you know, but at the same time, what I'm noticing too, smaller bands like you guys and all the other bands that I've talked to from Earshot, have an upper leg on some of these bigger bands. And let me tell you why. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, I received an email from, you know, the Avenged Sevenfold fan club, which, by the way, is my favorite band of all time.
Nice.
You know, I got an email from them, you know, and it was said it was written by Matt, but who knows? But anyway, it said, hey, you know, we have our new album done. It's some of the best work we've ever done, but we're not going to release it until we're able to tour. Because with this album, and like all of our other albums, you know, we have to put on a stage show in order to really sell the music, because it's they're 2 components in one.
For sure.
So that band, along with, you know, I talked to the lead singer of September Morning, Emily Lazar, last week. You know, they have a new album done. They're just putting out a single just to kind of tide their fans over, but they're not ready to tour yet because they're a very theatrical band who, you know, their music is based off of the comic books they write, and they play the characters on stage, and they need the tour to do that. You know, there's a lot of bands like that. So these big major acts that have these theatrical shows or put on a great stage show aren't putting out new music because they can't tour. So it opens a door for you guys and all these other bands, like I said, I've talked to, that now they don't have on that Friday your A7Xs, your Hailstorms, your In This Moments, your you know, whoever that you're competing with. Now it's just y'all.
Yeah, for sure. It is really cool. I agree with you. Another thing too is, like, I mean, that was our biggest thing for a minute there too, is because we've always pride ourselves on our live show. We all worked really hard to get all of this like big stage production, these lights, these like all this stuff. And so because when people come to a show to see us at a show, that's what we want to give them. You know, they paid their hard-earned money, you know, to come and see us. And so we always try to I guess, be more than a local band, I guess, from Nashville. And so that was like a big thing with our live streaming stuff, was like, I didn't just feel that we could produce through a screen the same thing that you can get if you come to one of our shows. And so that was another big, even though we are absolutely nowhere near as big as, you know, as like Avenged Sevenfold or like Foo Fighters or Deftones or anything like that. That was a big thing with us holding on to our record for as long as we did, because we wanted to tour it so badly, because we didn't know if the music was going to convey over, if we didn't get to play it for people live. But you're absolutely right. I mean, it does help, you know, not being on that kind of level yet, because, you know, we can put out these songs and the people that listen to our band support us. Like, they're super happy just to hear us putting out music. You know, they don't necessarily like need it to be live right now because they understand what's going on. But like you said, bands like Avenged Sevenfold, like a Slipknot, these bands that like have these gigantic arena productions, which, let's be honest, I mean, these days, that's how a lot of those bands even, you know, recoup for all their stuff is touring. And so if they can't do that, you know, it does. I mean, because record sales are pointless these days. I mean, it's just a different time. So a lot of those bands make their money on those big tours like that, putting on those gigantic production arena shows, and they can't do that right now. So, I'm sure there's a lot of factors that go into it, but I am very grateful that we're still at the point where we can put out music and people still be interested, I guess, you know, without us being forced to go tour it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you know, speaking of like big bands like Slipknot, I mean, they put out, you know, DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff like that of their performances, and it's fun to watch. But you know, I bought the one from London that they did with Iowa, however long that fucking thing was ago. Oh, yeah. And it was cool. I watched it twice, but I don't think I've ever watched it again. It's somewhere in my my stack of DVDs somewhere that I haven't pulled out in years because I don't buy DVDs anymore. I just download it from Amazon. Yeah, for sure. But it's like, you know, Corey Taylor though did a big stream not too long ago. He rented out the Forum and did a massive fucking concert. But he charged like $25-$30 a pop. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, yeah, so instead of, you know, spending $60 a ticket to go watch him, you know, for 4 people, yeah, you know, watching that spending that $25 was fun. It was fine. But at the same time, it was $25 to sit in front of my, you know, TV and, you know, not experience what Corey Taylor can do. Yeah, and it was, and I enjoyed it. I spent my money. I enjoyed it, you know, and then, you know, a month or two before that, you know, Trivium did one, but they only charged $8 and I was happy to pay that. But you know, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's nothing else really, you know, going on. I know a bunch of bands are heading back into the, you know, the studio, but at the same time, it's like, are you going to, okay, great, you're teasing us that you're going into the studio, but are you going to pull an Avenged Sevenfold and say, hey, we had this whole new album ready for you. It's the best stuff we've ever done, but you can't see it yet.
Sorry.
Yeah, it sucks. You know, and it made me just want to fucking drive over to fucking California and just smack Matt in the back of his fucking head, and say, come on, at least let me get one single. Come on, sure. Do something.
Yeah. It's like poking it with a stick. Do something. Come on, just do something. Yeah. I mean, and the other thing too, man, is like when all this shit happened, it like, I've said this had a lot of conversations, and it just kind of, it didn't matter if you were an acoustic act, or like Corey Taylor, Slipknot, Trivium. This whole thing like leveled the playing field. Like, I mean, none of us could do shit. The only thing we could, and so I think a lot of artists and bands, I think that everyone just took that opportunity to say, well, fuck it, we can't we can't play, so let's just go in the studio, I guess, and record a record. You know, I mean, we have an undetermined amount of time, you know, to perfect this and do this, but then a lot of it is like, you know, it only takes so long to do a record, you know, if you have your songs written and ready to go, and then now they're all done, and everybody's just sitting here, like, with our finger up our ass, like, trying to figure out what to do with it, you know?
Yeah.
It's a bummer, but I mean, I'm glad that we started to put out singles. Because honestly, in anything, I mean, you being in a band before too, it just kind of made me at least feel a little bit normal again, to be able to have to go through the whole gambit of, all right, getting our artwork together, getting the teaser videos together, getting ready to put the single out, it at least made us feel a little bit human, and, you know, because we hadn't done anything like that in months, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, what was I going to say? I had a thought in my head, and I can't remember what it was now.
story of my life.
Oh, there it is. And you said it best just now. It's leveled the playing field for a lot of people. You know, but that is true on so many different facets of entertainment right now. Doesn't matter if it's music, movies, you know, TV shows, YouTube creators, podcasters. You know, if you're taking advantage of the opportunities that you're given right now, you can succeed. You know, and a year ago, it was, you know, next to impossible to get recognized in any of those things unless you had money to back it up. Yeah. But now people are, because they can't go to the movies, they can't go to concerts, you know, new TV shows are few and far between. You know, now they're like seeking out new content. Mm-hmm. You know, and if you're ever wanted to, you know, you kind of missed the boat a little bit if you're just starting now. But, you know, if you started back in March or April, really pounding that pavement, or the virtual pavement, I should say, yeah, you know, people are really starting to recognize that and really kind of, you know, taking advantage of that. And, you know, I mean, it's a blessing in disguise for creators. Mm-hmm. You know, it's been shitty. You know, 200, almost 300,000 people dead. You know, the selection was a fucking, you know, train wreck, and mental health, you know, numbers and suicide numbers have skyrocketed. You know, but at the same time, you know, the ones that truly wanted to succeed and truly wanted to get out of that rut have done everything they possibly can to make it. And sure, those people right there, I just give massive amounts of credit to. I mean, including you guys. It's just, yeah, you know, you've got to take advantage of what you're given. And if you just sit back and wait for something to happen, it's never going to happen. For sure. You've got to, you know, punch that wall down, because literally the only person that put that wall in front of you is you. Yeah. So you just got to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, that's totally true, man. I mean, it was rough, you know. I mean, with everything going on, when like to see everything shutting down, to see like your friends, you know, losing their jobs, and unfortunately like all the terrible, you know, deaths that happened for all this, it was a very, I mean, it still is, you know, a very dark time. And you know, it's hard. It's hard to push through something like that, you know, and continue doing, you know, this thing that you had all these plans for, and now it's just kind of like shut down and you didn't know what to do. But I mean, I feel like if we wouldn't have wrapped this record up, if we wouldn't have continued to create some type of content and get ready to drop this record, that like it'd have been even more depressing than it already was. Because I mean, it's hard when, you know, you start to realize that the one thing that makes you happy is taken from you for a little while. You know, and you're not sure when you're going to be able to do those things again. Like, especially in my case personally, my favorite part of the whole process is playing shows. Yeah, I mean, recording's cool. Putting the, you know, the process of putting the content together, that's great, you know. But my favorite part is to get to, you know, to feel that energy and play this stuff live. So it was really tough, you know, to like not be able to do that, to like have the one thing that made me happy the most be limited. And so like I had to find that creativity in like other places, you know, and like other places of the process, which I'm glad that happened. I'm just, you know, I'm just thankful for, you know, all the, you know, the bands that did, you know, persevere and like push through and continue doing stuff, because I mean it did suck. I mean, because there's a lot of great bands, you know, that ended up, you know, calling it quits, you know, during all this because of the stress and everything. And it really sucked to see that happen. And I'm just thankful for the bands that, you know, pushed through and, you know, are stuck together and made shit happen, even though shit was really depressing and tough.
Yeah. Because, I mean, of all the different, you know, again, levels of, you know, entertainment that we have, movies, comedy, you know, you name it, music is the one thing that is a common denominator in unity that we have. You know, not everybody can go to one type of comedy show because, you know, that's not for me, or I might be offended. Or, you know, I just know he's too offensive, I can't do that. Or, you know, I'm not the fan of that actor, or I don't like a comic book movie, you know, whatever. If you don't like comic book movies, fuck you. But, but anyway, you see my point. But, you know, when you go to a music festival, you see all walks of life. You know, you see people that don't even like care for the music. You know, they're just there to have a good time because they know they're going to have a good time. Mm-hmm. And, you know, while I don't exactly, you know, commend them for going to a show that they don't like or don't want to watch, I'm glad that they're there. You know, I'm glad that they're, you know, trying to have a good time. And you never know, they might find a band that they like. But at the same time, you know, when you go to a festival, you know, even if it's Coachella, which, you know, I'm not a big fan of, but, you know, again, you see all walks of life, every color, every race, every creed, you know, every age, you know, and it's just, it's a beautiful fucking thing. Yeah. But, you know, as far as like, and the reason why I say fuck Coachella is because, you know, a couple years back, was about 4 years ago now, Volbeat was there, and they had barely any crowd, you know, in front of them. But then, you know, they left the crowd, and then, you know, an EDM guy came up, and everyone just kind of stormed the stage. Yeah. It's like, oh, come on. But anyway, but my point is, you know, Volbeat got that exposure to be at Coachella. Yeah. But then, you know, you have, you know, our festivals, like, you know, what used to be Rock on the Range, you know, now it's, what's it called?
What is it called? I know what you're talking about. I can't remember.
I can't even remember it now. Damn it! Yeah, it's only been a year or two that it was called this new thing. Yeah. But then, you know, you have Rocklahoma, and then you have Open Air Chicago, Open Air Houston, this and that. And, you know, like I said earlier, Aftershock, and all these other, you know, festivals that are put on every year. Sonic Temple, that's what it's called. Yeah, that's right. I knew it would come to me eventually. But, you know, we have all these great festivals. And again, it's just, you know, it's a unifying factor in a lot of people's days. And, you know, when you go there and see, you know, a band that you just never imagined, you know, doing what they do, and then just like looking at, you know, the color of their skin or their age, or, you know, knowing what their nationality is, and you're like, damn, everyone's here for one sole purpose. And it's so fucking beautiful. I remember, back in 99 or 2000, maybe around there, something. I was at a festival in Orlando, because that's where I used to live. And there's a festival that goes on every year called Earth Day Birthday, put on by the local rock station. And Seven Dust has played that festival probably every year, you know, for the last 20 years. But this was one of the first years that they were there. Mm-hmm. And there was a bunch of people that, you know, because they only had one album out at the time, because I think their first album came out in like 97, 98. But I remember being there with a bunch of my friends. You know, we were, you know, juniors in high school, and they're like, holy shit, LeJean is black? Yeah. And it blew people's minds. And I was like, what does it matter? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But it was something that was unifying. It was something that, you know, showed, hey, you know, it's not just culture music, it's music. And I love that about, you know, music in general. You know, a rap guy, you know, being a white guy, or, you know, a black guy from fucking, you know, Haiti like LeJean is, or, you know, a bunch of Mexicans like El Nino, or, you know, there's so much. There's no cultural divide. Music doesn't know that. Yeah. Movies, comedy does, but music doesn't.
I totally agree, man. That's it's been a great year too, man. I mean, because there's this dope ass. I mean, I listen to like hardcore music and shit too. And there's this dope ass band called Jesus Piece, fronted by POC, and it is that's one of the sickest bands I've ever heard in my life. They're so fucking hard, and you're right, man. It's like their music knows it doesn't know that shit. Like the one thing that the world is always going to have is music. No, that sounds really corny and shit like that, but I mean it's very true. It's the one thing that like unifies everybody. Like I said, if you're sad, if you're angry, if you're happy, it doesn't matter. There's always that one song or that one playlist that you can go to, and it amplifies those feelings. And I feel like there's not a single, and like I've never met. I mean, I've probably come across them at some point in time, but I personally can't remember a single time I've ever come across somebody that just said, "I just don't listen to music," or music's just not my thing, because it's just such a universal thing, man. It's awesome.
It really is. I mean, look at like here's another thing. Like the Mayorga brothers from Sepultura and Soulfly. From Brazil. Or Ice-T and his band of fucking misfits. Body Count. They're still fucking touring. I mean, and Ice-T. That's. I mean, it's so. Again, music doesn't know culture. I've talked to a band, or one band recently. They're a newer band. They're on the verge of taking off, but they're a Latin band, and they sing Spanish and they sing that type of music. Mm-hmm. But they're all white. And none of them are actually Hispanic in any which way, shape, or form. They just took Spanish lessons, they're from Miami. So, I mean, there's, a little bit of cultural, integration there. But, they just love that music. And we're like, you know what, let's go ahead and do something different. Let's do a, Latin band with all white people that, appreciate that culture. And it's really fucking cool. I was like, that is pretty badass. Yeah. And so again, that is what I love about music.
For sure, man. It's great.
And I cannot wait to get back to that.
Oh man, me too. It's become a big joke now. Somebody says like, "Man, I can't wait to see you guys live," and I'm like, well, it's always a big joke now with every band. It's like, live? What is live? What is these shows you speak of? Like,
what's a concert? I don't. What is this? Yes, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like the little meme now. The little grandma and their daughter's helping her. It's like, when I was a kid, we used to have shows. It's like, yeah, whatever, grandma, let's get you back to bed. Like, it's like that's all us right now. It's like we're gonna be 70 years old and being like, yeah, we used to have these shows, man. It's cool. But no, man, I hope so. I hope so soon, man. I really hope. But I'm just glad that we could. Those bands are still putting out music at least, and like giving us something to, I guess the big quote of it has been to tie over everyone, But yeah, it's just a weird time. I know I've said that a lot. That's just the only way I can describe it. Though. It's just a weird time, dude.
Yep. Yeah. But it can hopefully only get better from here.
I hope so, man. I really, really hope so.
Regardless of political affiliation or, who was right, who was wrong, whatever the case might be, now that the election is pretty much over, hopefully, politicians, doctors, all these people that have been just ignoring everything for the last few months can finally get back to, helping this country, regardless of anything else, I'm glad it's over for that simple fact. And I'm hoping, I'm hoping there's a vaccine soon and we can get back to normal, but who knows?
Speaking of, there was a press conference earlier today and apparently they have got something that is
90% complete. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, President Trump tweeted that today. I didn't see the press conference, but I saw the tweet.
Yeah, Biden. I think Biden had a press conference earlier from Atlanta, and he was saying that they were like extremely close or something. So who knows, man? Hopefully, we'll get something, and we can start, slowly, integrating, like get where we have shows again. Like maybe small at first, but it'd be something. Hopefully. Yeah,
I haven't really, unfortunately, been following Biden or Harris, the last couple of days, just because I know they got their shit under control. I have just literally stayed my eyes on Trump's feed just because it is comedy gold.
That fucking guy, dude. What a character.
Yeah, whether you love him or hate him, I mean, I have no problem with Republicans. I have a problem with him, but if you lost, just give it up. But
take the L and go.
What's really funny about it is, if you look at his Twitter feed, every single one of them has been reported for false accusations. And it just gets funnier and funnier and funnier. And it's like, oh, this is a comedy act waiting to happen.
I'll be so. Oh man, I'll be so glad when it's. I'll be so glad when it's done and gone. I can't deal with it anymore. It's definitely been 4 years of comedic gold from his Twitter though. That's for damn sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it is something else. But again, love him or hate him, he's inadvertently one of the best comedians on the planet.
The worst part is he thinks he's being serious and everybody else is just laughing at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do got to give him credit though. I mean, 71 million votes were cast for him. That's the most of any sitting president. Now, Biden got 75 million, but still, I got to give him credit. I mean, his people love him, and 71 more people voted in this election than any election in history. 71 million people voted for that man. So obviously, he's either the greatest con artist on the face of the planet, or there's something I'm missing.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely say the first.
The latter.
Yeah, I'm something I'm missing, and the other. But no, it is really cool though. Like speaking of the voting thing, I think I'm most proud of anything of like our country for just everyone voting, like getting out and voting, man. Because we've always had a really big problem with that. A really big problem with people being like, I'm not going to vote because my vote doesn't count. And it was really cool to see how many people in the country like actually got out there and casted their vote, for what they thought was right.
Yep.
That was really cool to see, and I'm looking forward to the future of everything, and
me too.
And how things are going to go.
Yeah, I mean, those numbers are ridiculous. Almost 150 million people voted in this election.
That's fucking cool.
It's so fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
My hat's off to the Republicans. They did a great job in encouraging the vote. The Democrats did a great job of encouraging the vote. The Independents did a great job of encouraging the vote. I mean, even Kanye did a pretty good job of encouraging the vote.
Oh yeah.
So
we had a lot of people vote for Kanye in Tennessee. I don't know if you saw, but we were the highest state for Kanye.
Yeah, but you also went red too. So at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But
very good point.
Yeah. So I'm not sure, but fucking Kanye.
That guy's wild too.
And he's gonna do it again in 2024.
That man is wild. Man is wild. Wild.
I wonder the next entertainer that's going to come out of the woodwork for this.
Well, we already had a fucking game show host, so who fucking knows?
Yeah, game show host, a rapper. Now what else? What is next? It's becoming a reality show. Our government is becoming a reality show, and that is a sad fact.
It's truly baffling. Like it's like I feel like the past 4 years have been a fucking dream, just a literal dream. Like I woke up the other day. Like it doesn't seem real.
It doesn't.
It just doesn't seem real.
It does not.
Yeah,
but it is what it is, and hopefully, regardless of it all, something happens. Whether the economy fails or gets better, or whether anything else happens. I don't care about anything else right now. I just want this pandemic to be cleared up so we can get back to focusing on
me too, man.
Being Americans again, regardless.
Just ready to rip some gigs, man. That's all. That's every single day, man. I check the news to see if potentially something has happened. But it's also one of those things. It's like I do want shows to come back, severely bad. I mean, because that's what makes me happy. But I also want to make sure that everyone's doing what they're supposed to do and everyone's safe. And that's the most important part. As bad as selfishly of me and the rest of us want to like shows to be back. I just need to make sure that everything is safe and we're doing everything properly to make sure everybody's having a good time, but safely. So
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, and it's not selfish at all because I'm saying they're saying the same thing. I want to go be able to see the bands that I love next year. I want to be able to go back to a movie theater and start watching Marvel movies again. I want to be able to it's aside. Granted, yeah, I saw 10 different shows last year, and I haven't seen anything this year. But you know what? Come May of next year, when I finally get a chance to go see Black Widow hit theaters for Marvel, it'll be 2 years before I've seen a Marvel movie. So as of right now, it's only been a year since I saw a little more than a year that I saw Slipknot was the last show I saw. But now it'll be 2 years before I get to go see a Marvel movie again, and that's
it's
comic
insane
books. It is.
to think about.
Comic books and music are my life, and obviously comedy too, but those two things keep me sane. I watched on Saturday for the fucking 100th time Endgame, and me and my daughter are sitting there eating pizza together, watching the movie, and just literally riffing lines back and forth, and it's hilarious. But it's like I'm ready for the next step, in this whole thing, and hopefully there's some sense of normalcy coming back to us.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I truly, truly hope so. I just want to see us move forward and do good things as a country, get everything going where it's supposed to be. And open things up safely when that time may be. You get to go see Black Widow when it eventually happens. Yeah, man, I'm just ready for some normalcy too, man. It's been a long year.
Yep, exactly. But I mean, aside from Black Widow, I want to see Ice Nine Kills again. I want to see I Prevail and In This Moment and September Morning and Nothing More and all these bands. If you guys ever come to town, I'm going to come see you guys. It's like,
sure.
I want to get back what makes me happy, what makes you happy, and what everybody else makes, whatever it is. I don't care if it's going to your BDSM club and getting whipped by a mistress. You can't even do that right now. If that's what you enjoy, go get your spankings, man, and enjoy that shit. But we have to get back to that sense of normalcy.
We do, man. We do. I very much agree with you.
But I hope In the Deep does a great job for you.
Thanks, man.
Guys, all the links in the description of the video and of the podcast, obviously. But download it on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, the whole 9 yards. Get it now. You guys will not regret it. It's a fantastic EP. I've listened to it multiple times, and I wish you nothing but the best, Tyler.
Hey, thanks so much, man. Thanks for having me on your show. It's been awesome, dude.
Yeah, it really has. It's been worth the week of waiting.
Man, I'm so sorry.
Don't worry about that. I just had to bust your balls about it for a second.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, dude.
Dude, it happens. I'm not mad at all. I'm just glad it finally happened because it was awesome. So
me too, man.
But yeah, I would love to have you guys back. And definitely look forward to what you guys do next.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, no problem, man. You have a great rest of your day, man, and we'll talk again soon.
Man. All right, thanks.
Peace. All right, guys. So that is our Wednesday. I hope you enjoyed it, because I know I fucking did, as I always do. I mean, I get to come on here every day, talk music, talk art, talk comedy, because that is what I do, and it's fucking fun. So, thank you very much for joining me on this lovely, lovely Wednesday. Yeah, check out Lonelyouth. All one word, LONELYOUTH. No second Y. So just Lonelyouth, one word with just one Y. Again, links in the description of the video and the podcast down below. But check them out. You guys won't regret it. And also, guys, don't forget Manscaped. 20% off and free shipping by using code SUCKITPODCAST, all one word. And as always, BetterHelp. BetterHelp.com/SIPod for 10% off your first month. Two amazing sponsors that I cannot thank enough for everything they've done for me. So, guys, definitely take a look at that. Manscaped makes a great present, especially if you're, women, buy your man this. I'm sure, they've been neglecting their junk. I'm sure you're sick and tired of, coughing up a hair every, time you want to go downstairs. Get your man some Manscaped. Or if he comes home and doesn't fucking take a shower right after work, get him the ball deodorant. That prevent them shit from stinking. Either way, manscaped.com, Sucker Podcast, 20% off, free shipping. BetterHelp, get your mind right. BetterHelp.com/SIPod for 10% off. Thank you very much, guys, for being here on this Wednesday. I will talk at you tomorrow. But until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and as always, stay fucking heavy. Peace.